Today, we're going to explore something that might be standing in the way of that next level of success that you've been working so hard for as an online coach. And the frustrating part is going to be you may not even realize that the thing that's standing in your way is there. So, if you're a coach, you're purpose driven, you're passionate about making an impact, and you know how it feels to pour everything into your business, into your clients, and into your work. But sometimes, despite all of your efforts and everything you're doing, the strategy work, the mindset work, the marketing work, you hit a wall. You know you've got all the tools, you know deep down you've got the expertise, you've got the passion. So why aren't things moving forward in the way that you know that they should? So let me take a wild guess. You're probably asking yourself, why am I not where I thought I would be by now? Why am I not where I thought I would be by now? Why do I keep second guessing myself before actually taking action? Why do I feel like there's something I'm meant for more, but I can't quite fully grasp it? What if I told you that it's probably a subconscious block holding you back? And the kicker is it's hiding in plain sight. You may not be able to see it right now, but it's right there waiting for you to see it. And today, we're going to help you see it and we're going to help you overcome it. So if that sounds good to you, let's dive right in. So, what do I mean by a subconscious block? So, a subconscious block is essentially a deep-seated belief or emotional pattern that you have that's been running in the background of your mind like a little rabbit, influencing everything, your actions, your decisions, and ultimately your results. And most of the time, you're not even aware that it's there because these blocks are often tied to fear, doubt, or past experiences that have shaped how you view yourself, how you view the world, and what you believe is possible for you. And for us coaches, we're driven by purpose. We're super passionate. We're really driven by making an impact. But sometimes that passion, that empathy can also make us more vulnerable to these hidden blocks. Let me know in the chat if this is starting to feel like it's ringing true for you. So let's take a closer look. Are any of these situations resonating with you? Do any of these sound familiar? Do you find yourself over preparing or over delivering? I've done that. Or hesitating to launch because it doesn't feel perfect yet, or it doesn't feel ready yet, or for whatever reason, you've kind of over prepared, over delivered, but you're not quite pushing the button. Do you procrastinate on big moves like launching a group program or pitching to your dream client because there's that little voice in the back of your head saying, I'm not ready yet. I just need to do this. I just need to do this qualification. I just need to do this on my website. I just need to. So you're busy squirreling away in the background all the time and never actually taking the big moves that bring the clients in. Does that sound familiar? Do you feel an underlying fear of actually putting yourself out there? Maybe you're avoiding visibility on social media or on YouTube, for example, or delaying raising your rates because you're worried about being judged or rejected. The thing about being an online coach is we need to get super comfortable with visibility and vulnerability because we have to put ourselves out there in order to have a successful business. So if any of those scenarios sound like you're probably dealing with a subconscious block or two. And don't worry, because you're totally not alone. Like we're all there, we're all experiencing the same thing. There's not a person alive who doesn't have a subconscious block or two. And like I say, I feel like as a coach, you're more susceptible to them, you're more vulnerable to them in some ways. So let's frame this to help you really grasp which subconscious blocks you might be having. I'm going to give you a few common subconscious blocks that I see a lot of coaches, a lot of my clients are facing. So let me know which one of these feels the most familiar to you, or it might be that they all feel familiar. I know I've definitely worked through all of these in my time. So if all of these feel familiar, that's absolutely fine. You are where you are. A lot of this comes with acceptance and awareness. And once you've got that, you're able to actually make the changes necessary to overcome these blocks. So knowing you've got them is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. So the first one, really, really common one is, and we've touched on it already, is fear of visibility. So you know you've got incredible knowledge. You know you've got so much value to share. But when it comes to showing up online, whether it's through like live videos or YouTube videos or social media posts or launching a program or even just sharing your opinion on someone else's post, you freeze, you hold back. Maybe you're asking yourself or you're telling yourself, I'll wait till I feel more confident. I'll wait till I have a bigger audience. I'll wait until I have that qualification. I'll wait until. Or maybe you're saying, what if I receive negative feedback? What if someone reads this and thinks something negative about me or says something negative about me? So if that's happening for you, this block is often rooted in a fear of rejection or being judged. Somewhere in your past, you may have picked up on the belief that being too visible makes you a target for criticism. So let me know in the chat, does this fear of visibility hit a nerve with you? Is this something that you're going through right now? Another super common one is, and I'm sure you're going to recognize this one, is imposter syndrome, because this is a huge one for all of us, right? You know that you've helped clients achieve incredible results. You've put in the work without a doubt. You know your stuff, but you still find yourself questioning, who am I to be doing this work? Who am I to be saying this? Who am I to be charging these prices? What if they find out I'm not as good as they think? Imposter syndrome is a block that stems from the belief that you're not good enough or you don't deserve your success. And it can really be debilitating as an online coach. It can lead to you over delivering, giving too much for free, undercharging, and even holding yourself back from stepping into opportunities that could truly elevate you and your business. So if imposter syndrome feels like this is something that's been kind of nagging at you or holding you back in some way, let me know in the chat. And the final one we're going to use as an example today, and this might seem like a bit of a counterintuitive one, is the fear of success. Because a lot of us actually have this. You might think it's a fear of failure, but often it's actually a fear of success. Because when you succeed, it comes with pressures and responsibilities and visibility that you may not feel that you're ready for, or that you're worried you'll lose your freedom, or you'll lose your independence, or you'll lose something greater than the value of the success if you become successful. So you find yourself self-sabotaging, constantly pivoting, making excuses, not doing the work, even though deep down you know you're ready for this next step. So if that's feeling familiar, this fear of success, comment success in the chat if you feel like this is the sneaky something that's maybe been holding you back. So now that we've touched on some of these common subconscious blocks, let's get into how you can actually identify what's holding you back. Because this level of awareness is 100% the door to overcoming them. So the first thing to do to identify what's holding you back is look for the patterns. The patterns will always give you clues. We're talking about business here, so look for the patterns in your business. Start by reflecting on areas of your business where you're always kind of feeling stuck. Things are always feeling sticky. You're always maybe getting that feeling in your tummy. Do you notice a recurring pattern of the areas you're feeling stuck in? Maybe you're always preparing, you're always in prepare mode, but you're never quite launching. Or when you launch, you don't quite give it your full 100%. Maybe you're getting close to hitting a goal and then you pull back at the last minute. Before the big thing can happen, you pull back, you stop it in its tracks. These patterns often point to a subconscious block. So here are some journaling prompts to help you work through this. And there's just two I want you to work through today. The first one is, where do I keep feeling stuck or frustrated? Where do I keep feeling stuck or frustrated in my business? And the second one is, what do I tend to avoid or procrastinate on? Maybe a good thing to do is to keep a journal on this over the coming month. And every time you feel stuck, every time you feel frustrated, every time you know you're avoiding something or you're procrastinating, just make a note of it. And then over a full month, a pattern will appear. It will appear. And this will lead you to the subconscious block that's keeping you stuck. So do this exercise, come back into this video and let me know what patterns you discover. I'm really interested to find out what you uncover by just two really, really simple questions. The second thing you can be doing is identifying your emotional triggers. And as an online coach, I think you'll agree with me, there are actually a lot of emotional triggers that we face pretty much every day. So another way to spot your block is to really pay attention to those. These are the moments when you feel an intense emotion like fear, anxiety, frustration, or overwhelm in response to a particular situation. So, for example, scrolling on Instagram or wherever it is, do you see other coaches succeeding and feel jealous, frustrated, or anxious, or like you're out of time, or like that they're doing it, so I can't do it? Does seeing other people in your industry succeed make you feel like you can't? Do you feel anxious when you think about raising your prices or increasing your visibility, really stepping forward, really claiming and owning your expertise? Does that make you feel like you want to shrink away and make you feel super anxious? All of these emotions that you're feeling are clues to this subconscious block that's holding you back. And they can literally point you directly to the limiting belief hiding beneath the surface. So, once again, over the course of the next month, feel into your emotions. Make a note of when you start feeling a heightened emotion about something. And over a month, once again, you will see a pattern forming. The third thing we're going to cover today in terms of how you can identify what these subconscious blocks are is to revisit some childhood beliefs. So a lot of times our subconscious blocks are rooted in early experiences. And I'm going to dispel a little bit of a myth here because these early experiences do not have to be trauma or some terrible negative thing that's happened to you. It can be as simple as something your mum said to you when you were younger. So, for example, when I was a teenager, my mum often said that I was lazy, that kind of stuff. And that stuck with me my whole life. I identified as someone who is lazy, even though the exact opposite is true. But that's obviously something that just got lodged in my brain somewhere and became a belief, and that hampered me throughout my life. So it doesn't have to be a trauma thing. So think back to your childhood and think about what messages you absorbed, mainly about success, your ability, money, and your worthiness. So, what messages did you absorb about success, your abilities, your money in general, and your worthiness? Make a note of those, and they again will lead you to the root cause of what is holding you back. So maybe you grew up in a household where you were told not to brag, don't take up too much space. Who do you think you are? Or perhaps money was always a source of stress, and now you find yourself struggling to charge your worth or to say, these are my prices, or to launch the thing. And a lot of times it's because these early beliefs, these simple things that have dropped in throughout your lifetime, are playing out in your business today. So once you've spent some time working through this and identified your blocks, how do you move through them? If you know what they are, okay, fine. What do I do about it? So we're going to give you a few practical tips that you can start applying straight away to start undoing all of this unconscious programming that's been taking place. The first thing, and I'm all about keeping it super simple. So I'm not saying to you spend loads of time in your past revisiting your trauma, going through who was to blame, he said, she said. Just bring yourself back into today and take these steps. The first one is to challenge the beliefs. Challenge the beliefs that you've identified that are holding you back. And the simplest way to do that is to ask yourself, Is this true for me today? Is this true for me today? That I am lazy story I've been carrying around for years and years, it is simply not true for me today, and I have the proof. Because these beliefs are just based on these past experiences, these past stories that just simply do not reflect who you are today at all, right? So, for example, if your block is, I'm not expert enough to raise my prices, I want you to sit down and list all the ways you've helped your clients, the amazing work that you do, the transformations that you provide, and look at that evidence of how amazing you are as a coach. And you can see with irrefutable proof that that belief doesn't hold up when you compare it to the reality of today. And remember, that's all we're interested in. I may have been lazy when I was 16 years old. It does not mean I am lazy today. So I can see the proof and see that it's not true and simply move past it that way. The second way to overcome these subconscious blocks is to reframe the belief. So once you've challenged the limiting belief and got proof that it's not true, you can reframe it into something more empowering for yourself. So instead of saying, I'm not expert enough, reframe that to, I have valuable expertise that I know people are willing to pay good money for. I know I have valuable expertise that people are willing to pay good money for. This is about creating a new narrative that aligns with who you are today and your potential to go forward into tomorrow. The third way of overcoming these subconscious blocks is to take aligned action. If you know anything about me, you'll know that one of my firm beliefs is action is key always. No matter what is happening, if you get into action, you can move through things so much faster. So once you've reframed the belief, take a small step that aligns with the new mindset, that aligns with the new belief you've just taken for yourself. So maybe it's increasing your rates for a new client that comes in, or showing up live on social media, even if it feels scary to do it at first. Baby steps. The more of these small aligned actions that you take, the more you reinforce this new belief, and the old one starts to unravel. It completely dismantles. You take the power out of it. Okay. The fourth way of overcoming and reprogramming these subconscious blocks is to practice self-compassion. So remember, ultimately, this work takes time, right? You've got to be kind to yourself when you're navigating these shifts, especially if you're navigating them at the same time as you're trying to build an online coaching business. These blocks are not a reflection of who you are or your worth. I'm going to repeat that. These blocks are not a reflection of who you are or your worth. They are simply old patterns, old stories, old beliefs you have completely outgrown. But the more compassion you show to yourself, the easier it's actually going to be to move through this discomfort into a space of growth. So if you've been feeling stuck or feeling like something is holding you back, whether it's around visibility or pricing or showing up fully in your business, it's really time to take a look at what's really going on beneath the surface. Subconscious blocks can feel invisible, but once you start identifying and working through them, you'll be amazed at how quickly things can shift. Remember, these beliefs aren't set in stone. You have the power to challenge them, to reframe them, and to step into this version of yourself that's ready for more success, more freedom, and more impact. So I encourage you to take some steps on this today. Start reflecting on where you might be holding yourself back. Do the journaling challenge and begin to really start to challenge those stories that no longer serve you. So once you start to do this work, share your blocks and share your reflections in the chat so we can talk through them together. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.